Now, we need to keep coming back for evidence. Many in the Roman Catholic Church take it for granted that that's true, but there are others that do not. And Father Pacwa, I'd like you to comment about the fact of if Jesus gave the supremacy to Peter, how do you deal with Paul? Because let me give you a few facts about Paul in relationship to Peter. I'd like you to comment, if you would, please. Peter has no say in Paul's appointment. There are 13 epistles that Paul wrote, 2,023 verses. Peter only wrote 2 epistles and 166 verses. Paul mentioned Peter more than once, but he never mentioned him with any special title of honor, such as the vicar or pope, or above any of the other apostles. Paul did not mention the papacy when he referred to the offices of the church in 1 Corinthians 12 and Ephesians 4. Paul as an apostle claimed authority over the Roman church itself in Romans chapter 1, 5 through 6 and 16, 17. Paul claimed for himself that he was behind the very chiefest apostles in nothing, 2 Corinthians 12. And that then specifically you have Paul rebuking Peter without any mention of Peter's supremacy in Galatians 2. Now, if Peter was the chief, it would seem that Paul would have acknowledged that in his epistles and would have acknowledged it in the respect he gave when there was a matter of doctrine on the table. We see none of that for Peter.
First of all, what you have in Paul and Peter's dispute in Galatians, again, is not a dispute about some infallible statement by Peter. Okay?
So
it's about his own practice.
Okay.
On something that already had been decided by the church. Now, Catholics do not say that we can't tell the Pope to live up to certain things in his own life. As a matter of fact, Dante, when in his Inferno, mentions that a number of popes are in hell for various reasons. And
remember, you said that. I didn't.
That's right. That's right. Well, why not say it? I don't know that they're in hell. Dante knew. So he says. And the thing that the Pope's infallibility does not mean is that the Pope is right all the time. In no way does the Catholic Church even teach that. He's infallible only when he speaks ex cathedra in order to clearly speak infallibly. He has to say that explicitly, that he's speaking infallibly. Secondly, it has to be to the whole church, not to one part or one individual of the church, but to everybody in the church. And thirdly, it has to be on the issue of faith and morals. He cannot infallibly say that the stock market will rise.
You have continued to tell me about the fact of what he speaks. When I'm saying the word supreme seems to also mean more than just what he speaks. There ought to be the respect, there ought to be the dignity, the honor, the mention of the fact of his office by all the other apostles. And we see none of that. It's silent, dead silence in the New Testament.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't think that it is not dead silent. Okay, again, even
Would you
Paul,
show me where it is?
Paul does not call him Simon Bar-Jonah, does he?
What does he call him?
Peter.
Cephas.
Peter.
Peter. Cephas or Peter.
And is that...
Which is a title given him, which is rock, not his given name. And he doesn't refer to him as Simon ever, but always calls him by Cephas. And even in Corinthians, what he's dealing with is a specific problem of people having been divisive on account of Peter. And later on, in the next generation, about 35 years later, you're going to see, well, actually more than that from Corinthians, about 45 years later, we'll see that it'll be the Bishop of Rome, St. Clement I, who's the second after Peter and Paul, who will be correcting the same church because of division. They never learned. And so it's the Bishop of Rome that takes that authority in 95 AD, before the New Testament is finished being written. And he's the one that tells them, he sends legates over there to Corinth and says, you Corinthians, get united with your priests again. And he orders his legates not to come back home until they're united. So he takes that authority in the very next generation as the role of Peter to bring unity to the church.